Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Anil Ferrao, aka Mr. Ferrao, and you are watching Artisticity, where creativity has no limits. Today I'm gonna show you guys how did I make my logo intro in Blender 3D. This is not a step-by-step video, but I'm gonna explain along the way with the time lapse of my logo creation. If you guys have not checked out my previous tutorial on Blender on how to make your own 3D logo, then do check it out. There will be a link in the description. Also, if you guys are new to this channel and if you haven't subscribed, then do subscribe. So let's dive in the video. Well, I had created this logo intro in Blender 2.8. First of all, I imported an image of my logo, then inserted a cube, subdivided it and started modeling, giving it the shape of my logo. Then I started modeling the city which is on the brush. If you guys don't know the concept of my logo is a brush which has a city on top of it. I modeled the buildings with simple cubes. When the basic structure or the basic shape was complete, I applied the subdivision of my base model which is the brush. Then I selected the vertices for the road and gave it a road texture with UV unwrap. Then I took a cube, gave it an array modifier, and with that I made some fence which I had put in the end of the road and the beginning of the road. Next I selected the faces with circle select for the pathway and unwrapped it, giving it a texture of pathway concrete blocks, as y'all can see. Gave it a bump in the shade editor for some realism. Then I selected the bottom half of my brush to give it a different material. So I gave it a brown material with a earthy feeling with bumps. Then I selected the rest of the brush to give it a different material. Next I jumped on the first building. Basically what I'm doing here is I downloaded an image of a building from Google and I am just pasting the texture of the image onto my building from UV project from view. Here what I have to do is I have to select the face, press U to unwrap and then project from view. This is a very easy and a quick way to make realistic distant buildings. Then I gave it some loop cuts and extruded the windows to give it some realism. Extruded the rooftop which was totally unnecessary. Gave it some loop cuts, extruding the windows, selecting the windows and extruding them inside to give it depth and realism. Select the faces, project from view and then giving the loop cuts wherever needed and then extruding inside the windows for the real effect. Next what I did is I selected all the faces where I wanted the green grass to be and then I gave it a vertex group where I wanted to put grass. But back then I had a slow computer and this was lagging so much that I had to scrap that idea and I just went on to a new green material with some bump to give it a grass lawn feeling, as y'all can see. Next I just took a wood texture and just slapped it on the wood panels, just how I did the buildings. Next I modeled some bushes because I wanted to have some bushes. And with the help of the vertex group I placed the bushes only where there is grass. Then I went on to the next building doing the same, which I had got the building image from Google, project from view, giving it some loop cuts and then extruding the windows for some realism effect. loop cuts, selecting windows, extrude, loop cuts, extrude. I selected some faces and gave it a grass material because I wanted to give it a pixelation kind of effect to the brush. Moving on to the third building, which I had got the texture from Google. All buildings I have done in the same manner, projecting from view, giving it loop cuts, and then extruding the parts which has to be extruded to give it some realism. And finally the fourth building, project from view, loop cuts, and then extrude the windows. When everything was done, I had to model a car which I wanted to show on my road. I modeled a low poly car which was fast and quick, giving it headlights, bumpers, and some wheels. Then I gave it a material of yellow paint, glass material, a metallic material for the bumper, an emission for the headlights, and of course the side mirror, a rubber material for the wheels, tail lights, number plates. Then I duplicate the car and gave it a red material just to make it a different car. Then I inserted a curve and gave a constraint modifier to the car to follow the curve so that I can animate the car after moving on the road. I did the same for the red car as well, gave a constraint modifier to follow the curve. And when that was done, I wanted a dinosaur because why not? I took a cube, subdivided it, and started modeling the dinosaur skull under the earth because why not? Everything is possible in 3D. Only your imagination is the limitation. Here I took a reference from Google, modeled the skull, modeled the teeth, and then I took some shapes to give it a boolean and gave it a boolean modifier to cut some holes in the skull. If you guys want to learn any specific thing from this video, then do let me know in the comments and I will make a separate video on it. Then I took an icosphere, stretched it and made it pointy at one end, and voila, you have some rib cage. Well, lastly I inserted a curve and took the camera and gave it a constraint of follow curve, just like how I did for the cars. And then I keyframed it from starting to the end, where in the end I wanted to depict my logo as it is in 2D. So as y'all had seen in the beginning, the video starts from the fence, dodging the two cars, going inside a fence, exposing the dino skeleton, and then far away the logo reveal. I had to tweak many parts and smooth out the animation of the camera to make it more appealing, and in the end I slapped on the bone texture for the dino just as I did for the fence and the buildings. Lastly I gave it an HDRI of clouds so that it looks like it's floating in the clouds. HDRIs are a great way to give realism lighting to your renders. And then I rendered the whole video and that was pretty much it. So I hope you guys learned something from this video. If you did, then do like, subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any updates from Artisticity. Also, if you guys want to learn anything specific relating to this video, any specific thing that you didn't understand or want to learn, then do let me know in the comments and I will do a special video on it. And also check out the description area for any interesting links. That is all for today. See you guys in my next video. Until then, stay creative.